Toto Wolff, Mercedes' team principal and co-owner, is reportedly negotiating the sale of part of his shares in the team. And this move could push Mercedes' valuation to a record-breaking level. We're talking about more than $6 billion. But what does this actually mean? And why would Wolff consider selling a piece of the empire he helped build? Hey everyone, welcome back to BoxTalk. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for everything that happens on and off the Formula One grid. Imagine one of the most successful figures in modern Formula One, the man behind 8 consecutive constructors' titles, deciding to sell part of his stake in the team he turned into a dynasty. According to reports from Racing News 365 and Motorsport.com, Wolff is in talks to sell a small portion of his 33% ownership in Mercedes, possibly around 5%, while keeping full control as CEO and team principal. If confirmed, the deal would value Mercedes' AMG Petronas F1 team at around $6 billion USD, the highest valuation ever recorded for an F1 team. So why now? Why would Toto Wolff, one of the smartest business minds in Formula One, sell part of his stake when the team remains a powerhouse both in reputation and revenue? The answer lies in timing and strategy. Formula One is at its financial peak. Since Liberty Media took over and Drive to Survive became a global hit, the sport has reached new audiences, attracted younger fans, and drawn unprecedented sponsorship and media deals. Teams are no longer just racing outfits. They've become global brands and investment assets. In that context, selling a small slice of equity isn't a sign of weakness. It's smart business. It's about capitalizing on market momentum and potentially bringing in a strategic partner for the next phase of the team's growth. One potential buyer reportedly interested is CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity company and longtime Mercedes partner. While talks are still early, the implications are huge. If Mercedes is worth $6 billion, what does that mean for teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, or McLaren? Wolff's sale could reset how the entire grid is valued. And that's not a small thing, because Formula One's new financial era, with its cost cap and fairer revenue distribution, has turned teams into stable, profitable businesses. For the first time, investors see Formula One as a reliable, long-term asset, rather than a billionaire's passion project. But timing matters. The Mercedes team is still fighting to return to the top after years of dominance between 2014 and 2021. Since the new aerodynamic regulations came into effect, Red Bull has taken the lead, and McLaren is closing in. So selling part of his stake now could mean two very different things. It could signal confidence, showing that Mercedes remains incredibly valuable even when it's not winning every race. Or it could be a form of financial risk management, locking in profits while ensuring stability for the future. Either way, it's a business move with deeper meaning. After all, who sells part of something worth billions unless they believe its value will keep growing? The key point here is that Wolff isn't leaving. Mercedes has confirmed he'll remain CEO and team principal with no changes in leadership or control. This means the sale, if it happens, would be purely financial, a way to bring in new investment without shifting the team's direction. Still, in F1, every financial move tells a story. And as Toto Wolff himself once said, nothing is permanent in Formula One. That line feels more relevant than ever. Looking at the bigger picture, this potential deal goes far beyond Mercedes. If completed, it could reinforce F1's position as one of the most lucrative sports in the world. The valuation would put top teams on par with franchises from the NFL, NBA, and Premier League. Institutional investors who once ignored the sport due to its volatility are now watching closely. Formula One has become a global entertainment business, one that merges speed, technology, and brand power. And as values climb, every transaction like this sets a new benchmark. For context, Liberty Media's F1 stock has risen over 50% since 2020, reflecting the sport's booming market. For fans, this might sound like pure boardroom talk, but it actually affects what we see on track. More money often means more investment in innovation, facilities, and talent. But it also means more commercial pressure, more brand deals, more expectations, and more focus on ROI. The challenge for modern F1 is finding balance, keeping the business profitable without losing the heart of racing. Toto Wolff, both a racer and a businessman, seems to understand that tension perfectly. He's playing the long game, positioning Mercedes not just as a racing team, but as a global powerhouse in the business of speed. So, what does all of this mean for Mercedes' future? It could signal stability as new investors bring capital and fresh opportunities. Or it could mark the beginning of a new phase, one where business strategy and performance are more closely linked than ever before. Either way, one thing is certain. Toto Wolff continues to shape the sport, not just from the pit wall, but from the boardroom. His moves will likely influence how every other team thinks about ownership, growth, and the value of success. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think selling part of his stake is a bold strategic play or a cautious financial move? Does this kind of deal strengthen the sport or risk making F1 too commercial? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BoxTalk. Here, we bring you serious yet accessible F1 analysis, the stories behind the headlines told with depth and clarity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.